start off. Always, God is amazing. So, appreciate y'all being here. The game today, it's kind of up and down with the rain, the weather. Pause, delay here, but I like the way our guys came out and fought. Once we got back started. And so prepare for next week and get these guys going again, and unload all the bullets that we have. So. But I love the way our guys competed, though, and stayed in the fight. Overall, we can't have missed field goals and blocked field goals. And then the costly turnover down there in the red zone. And you take those points and add them to the scoreboard, through all of those situations, a different outcome with the score. So, but overall, our guys fought and played hard, and they know what's at stake going forward next week.
Open the floor with questions.
Yeah, I mean, think about it, and kicking is like playing golf oftentimes. You go back out there, you kick, and you just find your rhythm, your stroke again, And that's the thing, you got to have a one snap and clear mindset, and, you just got to forget it. And the same thing like in DBs, they get beat deep, you got to be able to, like, one snap and clear right away, and be ready to play the next down. So things for him, he'll pro. And he know how to approach it going forward next week, and knowing that we're gonna need him, down the stretch these next two games. So we're gonna continue to rally behind him and build, make sure that his confidence is where it needs to be, and then go from there.
Coach, what are you telling the players having to play the same team back to back after, of course, not getting a dub today, especially some of the younger players that haven't had the experience to play in a game such as next week's?
Yeah, I mean, that's what these last 2 weeks been for. Once we clinch, our biggest thing for us and what we do with our team is, we want to make sure that we want to win games, right? And then secondly, we want to make sure that everybody get an opportunity to create value for themselves. So that was the thing that we took from it these last 2 weeks. We were able to do what we had to do to clinch early. And it gave all these guys an opportunity to go out and show their stuff. And, we like what we've seen out of these guys, you know what I mean? So, that's the beauty of it. We get a chance to clinch early. And so now we got film on everyone now. And so those guys can create value for themselves. And now we know who we can go with as far as in this playoff run. Yeah, you're right. The third year in a row when we had those situations. And, I mean, the biggest thing is, from the league itself, both teams already in the playoffs, we want to make sure that we, get guys out here healthy. And so that was the biggest part of it. We didn't have many plays ran, so which was good. So, yeah, that was the biggest part that came out of it. Just want to still get the game in, but at the same time, let's make sure we get out of here clean and healthy.
Good. It was good to get back out there. Got some time in the second half last week, and it's good to get my feet wet and kind of get the first official start. But like Coach was saying, this was a pretty simple game plan for us. Just going out there and trying to execute and just play fundamental football, and a couple things here and there, like Coach was saying, and the game goes a different way. But it was definitely good to get out there and play with those guys.
Any more questions on the floor?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a tight call. I mean, Braylon made a heck of a play. Sorry, excuse me. Yeah, I mean, those kind of things are out of our control. That guy goes up there and makes a great play. We thought he caught it. Some people didn't. But that's okay. We end up actually driving down and getting in field goal range on that drive anyway. So it's kind of 6 half dozen to another. But it was a great play by him.
We're going to open the floor.
To be fair to them, they did take a look at it,
Yeah.
So, yeah. For the most part, you got a boot on right now. You know, I guess we'll reevaluate him once we get back to Texas. I think he'll be fine. You know, oftentimes when those injuries happen like that, you know, first thing you think is that, you know, it's worse than what it is. Just to be cautious, though, got him in a boot right now, but we'll reevaluate it when we get back down there. I think he'll be fine.
We're going to open the floor to any questions on Zoom.
Hey, Mike. Wanted to ask about Seth Williams playing his second week with you. Had a couple drops last week, but comes back out this week, scored a touchdown. Was one of your go-to targets. Can you talk a little bit about gaining chemistry with him over this week?
Yeah, Seth's a great player. He came into us late during the season and kind of building that chemistry over 3 weeks. And you could see what happens. After every week, he gets better and better and better. And those drops will happen. I tell the receivers all the time, if I had to apologize for every bad throw I made, I'd be out of breath. So, those things are going to happen, but you just trust your guys. And as you can see, he had a heck of a game tonight. So.
And then, Coach, speaking of guys that came in late, we saw Trey Dean get signed, I think it was a week and a half ago, comes in, 7 tackles and a tackle for loss, played pretty well across the board. Can you talk a little bit about what you saw out of him tonight?
Yeah, it was one of those things, the expectation, what he did today and showed, And like I told him, early all week, I told him I can't wait to see him go out there and play. And he went out there and he was a freaking ball in a China shop, just wrecking shop out there. So excited to have him, on our back end in the secondary. And, now we know what he can do for us in the playoffs.
That's all questions?
Yeah, Coach Barlow, great friend of mine, and love him to death, man. And so, I don't know, So those things will probably be answered here in the next week or so, And but right now, we're just trying to go out and compete for a championship, And man, I love working with these guys. These guys are amazing, and we got a great group of dudes in there in that locker room, and I just love working with them. So. We're going to see, and then we're just going to all go from there.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.